In this video, I will show you how to color one of my coloring pages Café in Paris, like Consulat. I will put the link to them in the description box along with a video where I show how to transfer the pages onto watercolor paper. And these are the colors I will use, but of course you can use any colors you have. I will start the coloring with dunes mixed with raw sienna to make the color a bit warmer. Dunes is like titanium buff, so if you have that, then you are sorted. I will color the upper wall of the building and also window frames. They are white, but I want everything to be in a light layer of color, so they are not standing out from the drawing. I am using a round brush, size 11, but you can use what brush you feel more comfortable using. And while the paint is still wet, I drop in more color in some spaces to make the wall a bit more interesting and not so even. And at the end I will put the little drops of yellow color coming from the little lamps, and the paint will bleed nicely together. It will look like little light is coming from those lamps, and that would be wet on wet technique. Next, I will color the pavement. You can see that this looks like a light gray, so I am using a lot of water and little amount of the black paint. While this is still wet, in some spots I add raw sienna to make the pavement look more interesting, not so even, but raw sienna also more water than the paint, so it isn't so saturated. And then with the same gray I will color in the water pipe, little roofs, the street signs, pole, lantern and also chalkboards. With the chalkboards you can go straight to black if you want, but I like to draw with more layers and get darker color layer by layer. Also, you will see me changing to smaller brush. This one is flat brush size 2, but again, use any brush you like or have. Next, I will use red geranium and I will color in the flower pots in the windows and also letters in the cafe's name and little awnings in the window. Also the street sign, of course, and the big awning. I will color one stripe red and leave one empty for the green color. And also I will color the big horizontal part in the awning. If you want to keep the letters light, then color around them. But I decided to color over the letters and then later I will color them darker. This is your choice what to do with them. I forgot to add this little lighter part at the bottom of the cafe, and I draw with the same dunes and raw sienna mix that we used before. And while the color is still wet, I drop in a bit of black at the bottom, so this will blend nicely together with the pavement. Next, I will color the cafe wall. They are wooden and I chose the burnt sienna. It gives this nicely reddish tone that goes well with the red awning. And this is just the first layer. We will be making it look more three-dimensional a bit later. For the greenery, I am using olive green. If you don't have gouache, then start by adding yellow or red dots as flowers and then color with the green around them. If you have gouache, then just color everything, and while the paint is still wet, I drop in a bit of sap green in one corner. And then with the sap green, I will color the rest of the stripes in the awning. For the window, I will start with light layer of dunes, drop in a bit of raw sienna, let the color blend together. Also, I will add some olive green where the buckles are and yellow color coming from the lamp, and let everything bleed together. This is like a loose layer of the color. And for the windows that are indoor, I will just put yellow in the middle and burnt sienna around the frame, so the window will look nicely warm and lit. For the tables and chairs, I use raw sienna. If you want the chair to be a bit different, you can choose another colors, but for now I just colored everything with raw sienna. The upper wall windows, I am coloring with the blue. I have cerulean blue, but use any blue you have. And I will also put the blue in vases that are on the tables, so the drawing is tying nicely together. When the windows have dried, I will make them more prominent or saturated. So I go over the bottles with the green color, I darken the wall with dunes and raw sienna mix, and for the wooden parts like frames and shelves and that table, I use raw sienna, then add some red accents, maybe some burnt sienna to darken the wood, and for the lamp I will use black. So work on the details till you are happy with how the window looks. And I darkened the left side of the vase with little bit of blue, so it looks more 3D. Now I decided that I want the drawing to look more loose, so I am adding the dunes and raw sienna mix outside the lines. And then I will start coloring in the parts which would be darker. So decide where your light source is. Mine is on up right corner, so the parts under the water pipe will be darker. Those parts around the windows that are like inside the wall will be darker, and I like to add some random dots and lines here and there just to make it a bit more funky. Also under the little roofs will be darker, and I will color around the letters. Not around, I will color the left side of the letters. Basically this is like adding dimension to the wall. And to darken all this you can use the same mix or add bit more raw sienna, so it is a bit darker. To add the same loose effect, I am adding a light layer of black on top of the water pipe. So it's like outside of the lines. Just like I did with the dunes and raw sienna mix for the wall. So now I will darken the grey parts. I am adding layer with bit more paint than water, but I don't cover everything. I let the previous layer of grey shine through. This will give that 3D look. And keep in mind where your light source is, and darken the parts that would be in the shadow. And this would be like the third layer of black, even more paint than water, and just the last shadow accents, like on the water pipe, the lamps, signs, bowls, and table leg. Now the pavement. First I will work on these little thingies. I color the black on the left side and add some raw sienna on the right side, blend them together, and then add black on the left side again. So this looks very 3D. And then I will darken the pavement like we did before. Black and raw sienna in some spots, but let the first layer of color shine through, so don't color over all of the pavement. And here on both sides I want to also achieve the loose look, so I am adding raw sienna and red geranium, but like really light layer, more water than the paint, and just blend them somehow together. Next I will add another layer of burnt sienna on the cafe's wall, but I will not color little accents. Like that horizontal line I will keep lighter, and the frames on the door I will also keep lighter, but the rest I will color with burnt sienna. For the chairs, I am using burnt sienna on the legs, then with raw sienna add a bit of accents on the chair itself, and decided to add red geranium on that oval part of the chair. And with raw sienna I will also add some accents on the table. I mixed red geranium with burnt sienna to make a little bit darker red, and I will add some shadows on the left side on the flower pots. And then with sap green I will add little accents on the leaves, like some darker parts of the leaves and also some dots outside of the lines. When that is done, then with just red geranium, I will make all the red parts a bit more saturated and interesting. So I will color over the awning stop sign and all that is red, but also leave some bits uncolored. This will allow the first layer to shine through and make everything look more interesting and more dimensional. The same I will do with sap green on the green parts in the awning. Just some little random dots here and there, some darkened lines. Now the third layer of burnt sienna for the cafe wall and door. This time I am adding the shadow bits to the door. So those frames make shadow on the left side, like on the inside and outside. Also the door itself is making a shadow, and I will add some dots here and there. Now with the black color on the pavement, first I darken the left side on those thingies. I will also add a little bit of shadow from them and then darken some lines, add some little dots to make the pavement a bit more interesting. I wanted the pavement to look a bit more lively, so I will add olive green, and this will be like a moss growing in between the pavement. Next, with Payne's Grey, I am adding shadows that are on the windows. Also, remember where your light source is and draw the shadows according to that. Also add some shadows from the plants in the windows. Now for the shadows in the cafe's windows, I am using burnt sienna because those windows are warmer. And the window frames are making the shadow on to the left from them because the light source is on the right. And also with the burnt sienna, I will do the shadow from the awning, so just a horizontal line across everything in the cafe under the awning will be in shadow. So yeah, burnt sienna for that. When now the shadow part is done, I will add some splatters. I added splatters just like with the brush, and then I went in to add more. Then I let the splatters dry and move on to gouache. So for the flowers, I will use red and yellow gouache, just some dots, here and there, add some dots. When you have finished the yellow and red flowers, then with white gouache, I will add some sparkle to everything. You can use white jelly roll pen if you don't have the white gouache. So, where the sun would shine, I will add a white dot or line, and of course in the chalkboards I will add the menu, but this will be more like a scribble, not normal words. And this is the last step, and then your drawing is finished. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and if you bought the coloring pages, I want to say a massive thank you. It allows me to create these tutorials and keep on my artistic journey. So thank you again, and see you in the next video.